shoot. Let me make sure and put do not disturb on you guys. Okay. Just waiting on a few people to come. I know I'm a little late starting. I got stuck watching a video that kind of blew my mind and scared the bejeebers out of me. But just waiting on some people to enter the chat so we can get started here in a minute. I've got the video that I've been talking about queued up. I'm going to have to do this pretty quick. But I want to address some things. So, I want to first, can somebody let me know that you can hear me? I want to make sure my volume is good, there's no distortion, and I can be heard well. I've not used this feature before on YouTube where it's not showing my camera. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, we can do green screen, but we don't want to right now. Hey, Popcorn, can you hear me well? When I've got the camera off, can you guys still hear me? Somebody just let me know, yes, that you can hear me. Because the first part, what I got to talk about, doesn't matter if I have the camera on, and I look like who done it and why. Okay, good. So first, the first thing I want to talk about, I'm going to go back to Summer's case because some things came out. And, you know, they say a broken clock can be right twice a day. So, and in which I have never said, I'm going to say prefaces, I've never said Jody Sue wasn't right about things that she said. I just feel that she knows and has known more about what's going on. And I do feel that, especially early on, that she played up certain parts to benefit her and her children. So that's my thoughts. I really don't got beef with her or nothing like that. I don't really watch her, but I couldn't get good signal last night. And so I had to kind of watch whatever I could get to load. And she put out something that's very interesting. And I think I told you guys some things were said involving allegations, saying I had another child that I gave up and didn't have contact with, and that it was a boy and all that. And it was particularly difficult, you know, after losing my son for those specific allegations. That's why I'm not showing my face. I don't want people to get mad at me and saying I'm getting emotional. But long story short, Jody Sue, and I will put a link in the description of this video, and I'll try to make a post as well with a link to the video and let you guys see it yourself. She pulled up the documentation, and I went and looked up what she had. I found the same thing. I cannot verify that it's the same Crystal, but Crystal was accusing me of trying to be near her in Pennsylvania, which I'm nowhere near Pennsylvania. It would take me over 3 days to get to Pennsylvania, probably from where I'm at, and normal speed. Driving in the motorhome, it'd probably take me 5, just because you have to go slower. It just is what it is. It's life. But anyway, so she pulled up records for Pennsylvania for a Crystal Sims, I believe it says. Long story short, there's several recent filings for harassment under certain Pennsylvania laws that there is against her, among some other alleged charges. It wasn't just that. She made allegations tying certain YouTubers together in a little cluster. All but one of them I might agree with. I just don't see Don B. being influenced. I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying he's a saint. I'm not saying he's the greatest human being on earth, and I'm not saying he's the devil. I don't know him like that. Um, a lot of people, I found most people in the case either love him or hate him, and that's up to individuals on that. I just don't see him colluding with someone. And I know I've been lumped into that group before in the past, and it was an erroneous lumping. Now, do I believe that there's somewhere between 5 and 7 YouTubers that have been at one time or another in collusion to get content, to get clicks and views and subs and donations and get views on their channels? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. I get that, Popcorn. I get that a lot from people about him. And I understand. This is the thing that a lot of people seem to forget. And I do at times too, because I'm human. We are all supposed to be adults. All my content is marked not for children. So that's why I say we are all supposed to be adults. And that being said, we can talk to or like or dislike whoever and whatever we want to for whatever reasons we choose. And we really don't have to explain that to anybody. That's the thing I've always said, and I still stand by it. I don't care if I say a person is my worst enemy and somebody is in their chat. I don't care if you're their mod. I don't care. What I care is, are you talking differently about me when I'm not there? Then I can't trust you, and I can't, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And then I just think it's interesting that those charges are there and certain parallels and claims that she makes that I've long thought were true. I had a video a long time ago that I made because of something I found on someone else's channel. And they actually ended up taking it down. But it connected several YouTubers in a previous case before Summers that had a lot of issues. And secret recordings were revealed when two of them got in an argument that, absolutely stated that they staged arguments and fights and reconciliations with each other to keep people interested in watching their channels above the others in the true crime. And listen, that happens all over YouTube. If people don't think that's true, if you don't think there's fake fights, and I'm not just talking about true crime, in every genre of YouTube, there is people, they call it the beef sector or whatever, but there are people that when they don't have a lot of content or when everybody's covering the same story to help, it's that pick me thing to help stand out amongst the crowd, they stage fake arguments. That's why it's sometimes so hard to tell. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, bikini pics. We're gonna do that next. Please be ready. Everybody get your throw up goggles on. If I'm gonna post bikini pics, you're gonna want them. Um, I would want them. What do you mean? Anyway, let me turn the volume down and get this commercial to play through so I can show that when I'm getting ready to. Anyways, I wanted to just address that. I think it's worth a watch. I still say there's like 3 major statements that Jody Sue made that trouble me. And some people will probably be like, only 3. There are 3 major ones. It was about giving the illicit items to adults for children, or to children for adults, or to children for children, and having knowledge, whether it was before, during, or after. It took a year to come out. It wasn't a year before you knew that part. That will always bother me and trouble me. Um, the other thing is the creek. Walking through the creek. As somebody that grew up, you know, I can't help. People ask me, what do you, this case, it's statements like that that kind of took me aback, for lack of a better way to put it, because they're very contradictory and just not true, for lack of a better way to say it. I grew up, my granddaddy was a deer hunter, coon hunter, bird hunter, squirrel hunter, rabbit hunter. It was not that we had, my grandparents had the regular refrigerator freezer combo, a stand up freezer, and then a regular one that you raise the lid up on. Because Pop would get a deer or two a season. Anything over two that he got, he would get it and give it, out to the neighbors, share with the neighborhood, and they were happy to have it, especially when we had that black bear meat. It was off the chain, and there was a chicken plant and a pig farm right down the street. So a lot of times, the guy that did the hogs and the pig, made the sausage and all that, and bacon and whatnot, and fatback and whatever, he'd trade that for, deer meat, and he would, grind Pops up or cut it up, because they butcher, just, help once, whatever. Anyway, I say that because we always had hunting dogs, as Pop called them, which hound dogs, blue tick, that kind of thing. Um, not you mixed breed, just any kind. No, these were hunting dogs. They were trained to command a whistle or just certain stuff, certain one word, one sound commands, and they were on it. It was up a tree. They was surrounded, whatever. It was anywhere from 4 to 8. I know because I had to feed them, check them, I had to detick them. I've dealt with mange and the motor oil and all that stuff before. Everything. I'm the one that in the chicken coops had to go pick the chicken eggs. You know, I say pick at like I was picking apples or something. But we had a garden. I grew up, God, I don't know which was worse, potatoes, corn, or beans. Taters, you got to dig to plant them. You got to dig them up when they're ready. But Lord, and the corn, you got to pick it off the stalk. The beans, you got to pull them. Then you got to break them and string them. And then the corn, you got to shuck it and silk it. And sometimes cut it off the cob if you're doing it that way. And whether we did freezer bags or the little Tupperware square things with the lids, all that. But I digress. My point, and I got a little bit off track, and I apologize. No bikinis, don't worry. But honest engine, I say that because I grew up around hunting dogs and stuff, But I hated breaking manes. I hated stringing and breaking and silking, all that part. I'd rather be out in the garden a doing. I didn't run the plow. And we had one, the old school one, oh my Lord. If you know, you know. The wooden V with the plow blade. Had that one. I've had to use it when nothing broke down behind the lawnmower. What's my opinion on Pakistani people? I mean, they're people just like anybody else. I don't exactly know what you mean about opinions. I think we are all humans, and to be real with you, I think there's good and bad people And every ethnicity and every belief system, uh, it's okay. Don't be sorry. I don't feel the question was disrespectful. I welcome any questions. I don't have an issue answering that. If you're talking about the Israel and Palestine conflict, I feel personally that genocide is wrong no matter who does it. Um, I will not support that no matter whom it is. It could be my father, and I'm going to speak out against it. So, as far as, I mean, who's right and who's wrong, I'm not educated enough on that topic to form an opinion. I feel it would be ignorant of me to state an opinion at this time. It is personally something that I have been just researching personally. I don't even fully understand the conflict. So I don't think that I am appropriate to address and answer uh, that situation. But I do pray um, for everyone on all sides involved, because at the end of the day, most of the time in these wars and conflicts, as has been my personal understanding and experience, the general population, the average working person, and their, families and friends are who end up suffering and being hurt the most. And they don't understand what and why fully either. We can only go by what, those in power tell us. And I personally believe that we are told what they want us to hear to get us to act and react the way that each of our country's governments wants their citizens to think and feel. Um, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Peace is not profitable. War makes billionaires and trillionaires. And as far as speaking specifically, and I think, I must say, if I go and look at the Onaja videos of the American woman that was in Pakistan and how she was treated, I would have to say that the Pakistani people got big ups from all around the world on that one. Patience. Around here, we would say that y'all had the patience of Job, and probably made many people in many countries, but especially Americans, curious and want to come and visit. The kindness and the beautiful, beautiful garments and head wraps and jewelry and henna and so many things that seemed to all be from scratch created, makes me think ingenuity and craftsmanship and pride. I mean, that's something. Just seeing that made me want to go there. Now, the food, I love the food. I love the food. It's a little on the spicy side, so I got to be careful. But I do love the food. Now, back to what I was saying, because maybe that was a distraction, so I wouldn't say what I'm about to say. So I talked about the creek thing, and what I was saying about that, and I stand by 1,000,000%, is dogs that would have been coming to search for Summer would have been given something of Summer's. And unless you thought for some odd reason that Summer's scent was on you or your clothing, I don't understand why you would have washed your feet off. And I don't think that would have took care of it. But I'm just saying, like, there is scent transfer, of course. And or maybe um, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Um, it just struck me as maybe that Jody Sue wasn't as educated about how dogs worked for scent tracking and cadaver tracking as she thought, or she was and was making up a different reason, because the one we were given doesn't track for me personally and my personal experience in the past. And I've said it before, and I maintain that I just question that story, because it wouldn't have mattered. Your scent wouldn't have mattered. Now, footprints and tracks would have mattered for human eyes that were looking, but for the dog scent and tracking, I'm confused by those statements and feelings, because it doesn't track for me. I don't know how else to say it, guys. Sorry, not sorry. Um, you wouldn't have interfered. And actually, let's say Summer had walked through the creek. In my personal opinion, which opinions are like bungholes, we all got them, but in my personal opinion, had she walked in the water or through the water for, a little distance or big distance, and you walked through the water over top of it, that might have actually made it harder on the animals tracking her, because, um, going through the water, any when you have a dog that's tracking, any change in terrain, period, like going from gravel to pavement or to grass, that change in terrain can make it more difficult. And some items hold scent better and longer than others. And that's why, like, you see people run through the water when they're tracked by dogs, and the dogs lose their scent immediately. That does not necessarily occur. It depends on how long it is, how deep the water is, how much they went through the water, how long has it been, did they cross straight over. You can get to the other side, pick the scent right back up. They don't fully lose it. And as shallow as that creek water was, it wouldn't have made that big of a difference if they were within the time frame that we were told. So I was a little confused by that. That's one of the other things. And I'm confused by being accused by her, and I believe it was Crystal. I'm not sure who else. I apologize, because I didn't really care, because it wasn't true. Of being in collusion with Chase and his scheme or whatever. And I wasn't. I wasn't asked. I was on the very outside skirts of the marathon. Um, I was actually pulled in by another creator. Somebody crying out here. Last minute. Okay, well, looks like they having a conversation. It said. Anyway, I was pulled in by another creator for that last minute. Didn't even get to host on my channel because I went to the ER with Little Man. And I wasn't really wanted by those that were in power. And they know who they were. in charge of the marathon and came up with it and everything. So no. And I firmly believe that the chase and we're going to donate this money to the sunshine and all that was fully a distraction. Like we be talking about other things out there, you know? And you haven't missed much. We're still at the beginning. Uh, Jody Sue did a video saying that Crystal's Crime Time has multiple recent, between April and now, harassment charges in PA, along with some other charges. I'm going to link the video for those of you that hadn't seen it. And I was just saying why that I really haven't trusted Jody Sue. And I've never really heard her story about the fake FBI agent and what happened at the hotel. I have heard 3 or 4 other people's that were involved in that situation stories, and I would love to privately talk to Jody Sue. And I say privately first because names that I would not be comfortable saying out on the internet, I could say privately. I'm not, y'all know I don't record stuff if I tell you I'm not and do that, but what you mean don't be nosy? Ha! I'm being nosy. My nose is huge. Ha! But anyway, um, simply because I know some things. Okay, for instance, like she was talking about when she was in the first hotel, how there was a black vehicle with all blacked out everything parked in the parking lot, following her and watching her. She knew that, allegedly. Um, it was not a YouTube creator or contributor. This was a person that I have spoken to. This person and their entire family, children included, um, that were in the black truck. And yes, they were watching her. She's correct about that. But they understood from what they heard and saw that she expected that. They were security for her. That Chase had, quote unquote, they were his employees. If y'all remember, his workers that he hired um, to help. Some of the ones that were there in the Walmart parking lot passing out flyers and talking to people, same. Uh, that showed up to help out with Summer's very first vigil, same people. That was who was in the parking lot and following her, and she knew about it. They were there to make sure nobody came and tried to, somebody pulled up in the parking lot and was involved in the situation that she was saying she was in. That was her first line of defense. Before she'd see them, they would see. They would call 911 and they would be able to help protect her until authorities arrived. That's just one little thing that I was told. I'm not saying names on here, but in a private conversation, absolutely. Because, you know, I am a survivor. And if certain things happened and I really didn't know and hadn't been told, I might act and react a certain way. Just like the 2 people that paid for her rooms gave a different account than she gave. And I would just like to personally talk to her. I don't think it's, yeah, Crystal was. She actually, real quick, like, she actually accused me of having an older son in Pennsylvania, because I say I swear to Bob all the time, named Bob, that I hadn't had anything to do with. And like I said, and I mean, she did it multiple times and tagged me and played my work, just a whole bunch of stuff. Uh, and given the fact that I lost my only son, And I don't mince words about saying I'm not recovered from that. I don't know that I ever will. It was particularly hurtful. And I told her to please just leave it alone and apologize and get some help. And I maintain that. But if it does continue, I will take legal action as well. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. That's very there is no reason but malice and maliciousness behind it. There's no good intent, and it is fully fabricated. So, it's slander, it's defamation of character, and it is libelous. Um, I, yeah, that's all I want to say about that one. The other thing I wanted to address is there's twice, and my mods that are in here, because I know someone is, because they've been hitting the wrench. Just keep your eyes open. It's Silver Slipper, Silver Cinder, something. My understanding, I don't know that it's true, I haven't been able to verify, but my understanding is that they came over here from Smiley's chat. And look, I'm just going to keep it 100. Uh, Anybody can go anywhere they want and have any type of feeling they want for anybody. I thought that woman was my damn friend outside of YouTube. I thought she was for real my friend. Um, Before her and Doug made up, the 72 hours before that, we were on the phone, her in tears crying to me because he re-aired and re-commented on the interview and played her stuff where she called Don's daddy. Okay. And she was asking me to investigate and show people how it worked and how it came up and how she got the wrong number and all that. And so while she's cozying up to Doug, knowing that I don't watch his channel, nothing against him in any way, shape, or form, I just didn't. After he showed the thing that I felt was revenge corn, I just tuned out, to keep it 100. It just choice. I didn't say anything to anybody, and I never would. Um, I think she thought that I was angry at her for doing the interview with Dawn Wells. She's a grown woman. I don't have the right to tell her what to do. I make choices for me, and I've stated why, and that's it, period. But, and I couldn't maintain, I don't think, and be nice. So it wouldn't be a long one anyway. But I digress. My point is, um, I didn't even get a text, an email, select signal, or a call saying, don't work on this and making a video to help, to expose the truth and to vindicate me. The next thing I know, they're together on a screen, and then a few days later, uh, an altered situation, altered, altered stuff is aired, and accusations are made at me, and statements are made about I'm not talking to her and I haven't talked to her. I have tried. There, 3 months after those statements were made, multiple comments about trying to get in touch with you were on my videos from her. I had text, I had voicemail. I still have them. Do not play with me. I will put them out if I get pushed. My point is, I should have known better than to trust a YouTube thing like that, but I did. I believed in a true friendship. I had the back. I turned over research and documentation because I wasn't able to do, and I needed to be there for my mom and my son, but this needed to get out. And the bottom line is, because for about a month after my son passed away, I didn't answer nobody's texts or calls. I barely got off my couch. I don't even know that I ate. Okay. And There's so many. Oh, yeah, I got you on that. I'm with you on that as well. It is so many outrageous. My point is, you were supposed to be my friend. We talked on the phone every day. We texted multiple times a day. I have so many texts and emails and messages that say, F this YouTube stuff, stop it tomorrow, we're still friends, we're still going to talk. I met your husband, you met my kids, I mean, all that. Just because I don't respond for a month and a few days or whatever, you trash me and burn me down. Period. During a time that I was at my lowest, and I'm not talking about money or nothing like that, y'all. I'm talking about mentally and in my soul and my spirit. I was broken. I fully admit that. I didn't even have the will to eat. I don't know that I did. And during that time, rather than have the understanding as a mother and grandmother yourself and be like, well, she probably just needs some time. Let me give her some time. Nope. I was expendable. That's how it felt because I got torched and drugged like the witches at Salem, and I'm grieving for the loss of my child and my mother and trying to figure out what I'm going to do now because I have 3 generations living in a home that is part of an estate that owes money and doesn't have the ability to pay it. And now I got my phone blowing up because you're dragging me like I'm one of the witches at Eastwick or something. And buddy would dub in a bathtub or something, I don't know. And then where's Doug now, though? That's my question. Where's Doug now? Where's he at now? Because last I saw, she with Justin and Betty or whatever. I don't know because I don't follow it. I don't. I don't make time in my life for bullshit and drama, so I don't watch it. Because if I want to go read a news article or have somebody read a news article to me that they copy and paste and do, I can do that. The reason though I was saying something about the silver slipper or whatever, um, I was told that that person was sent. I had somebody contact me after the live and tell me that person was sent by them. So it's just a heads up to my mods on that. But I'm explaining why. Um, I think it's really kind of ironically funny when someone comes at somebody for something. Like if I was attacked for putting up my Cash App and my PayPal, and the very person that did it attacked me, accused me of horrendous stuff and lies. I mean, you're having, first of all, to accuse me of having a party that close to burying my son, you're a real piece of shit. Let me say that. I am fully back. I don't care, mods. The trolls ain't gonna bother me. Okay? Um, Trolling behavior is there for everybody. It just means we're doing better when we catch a troll or two. Now, for another creator to accuse me of having a child that I abandoned and me having, it be a boy and I buried my only child, that's a little different than trolling. That's not trolling. That's line crossing. Kind of like accusing me of having a party less than 10 days after I buried my child. But remember, and see, this is my reason for saying this, you guys, is I want no animosity. I don't care. I don't care if you guys go over there. I don't care if you mod for that person. I don't care. As long as you're not talking shit about Nita and trying to get Nita to privately tell you something to carry back. Because I don't want to be in there. Oh, autocorrect gets me all the time. Yeah, they did. They dragged me unmercilessly, and at at a time when women who are mothers themselves should be ashamed of themselves. That's why I say all I can do is pray for them. Because God don't like ugly. And that's why every time that somebody's, you're doing this or you're doing that, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to let it affect me anymore. What I am going to do is I'm going to let my Lord do his job with me and succeed and persevere even when I didn't believe I could. And get the best revenge that anybody ever can get on anybody in life. And what is that? To be happy and to be successful. I don't have to do anything. But what I will ask you is those of you that think and believe that Smiley's telling y'all the God's honest truth and that she's a victim, please, someone show me, because I showed mine when she asked and put it out there. I showed my breaking and entering report where the police came out, where they had a description of the vehicle from the neighbor who showed them the video. I showed the daily report. Where from the two Molotov cocktail situations that allegedly occurred, one at the neighbor's and one in her yard, cops are called. Where's the police report? We don't want to see your papers. We don't want to see that. We need the link to go find it ourselves. So where is the police report for the neighbor and for yours? Told. Yeah, I saw that. I saw all that was his. I felt sorry for her. I didn't talk about it. I didn't drag her because two wrongs don't make a right. And I don't know what to tell y'all about that situation. I wasn't around, and I don't know enough about it to offer an opinion. Um, maybe she filled out that application and Hawkins County hired her, and we don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I just want to see them police reports. Everybody asked for mine, and I provided them. I provided it. Even the documentation of my mama passing and my son passing, I provided it. So, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Where are your documents at? Until you produce those and show those, I have nothing. And I'm not saying it's true or not. I don't know. I've just not seen any proof. And from what I personally know, I need that. Oh. And listen, on a change of note, because I'm done with that, and we getting ready to talk about the Diddy and show that video, because I have a half an hour and my battery's going to die and I won't be able to show you anything on the TV. So let me get that done real quick. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to do for food and parking and stuff tonight. I will not be eating McDonald's again. I bet y'all that, because it made me very ill, very ill. Oh, I'm sorry about your signal. Let me read it. See if she. Oh yeah, I firmly believe if she had them, she would have already showed them by now. She would have showed them right if there was personally. But let me give everybody a little heads up, even her, because if they didn't do a full-fledged police report, they have to document every call they go on. It's called a daily report, daily incident report. Most parishes, uh, um, cities, counties, like mine, it says that it's for the public safety, which is the city cops, but it also shows sheriff and state troopers. It's all within the county. So basically, what I'm saying is it documents every incident. Like if it's a DV incident, it'll call the person society victim on it. It may not release their name. It even has car accidents. Uh, Anytime that they're called out for anything, suspicious vehicle, all that kind of stuff is documented. It has to be. So, that's all I'm saying. Welcome, Bucket List. Um, but here's what I was saying. I'm not eating McDonald's again, you guys. I was up all night and all morning and all afternoon. Not saying it's food poisoning. I'm just not. I guess I'm used to eating food that I make, or, you know, like a bologna sandwich or whatever. And that's the first, like, I guess, hot meal that I'd sat down and eat in quite a while. And it made me sick, and now I'm so hungry. And I'm at a Cracker Barrel. I can't afford that though. I wanted a cup of coffee at McDonald's yesterday, and I finally counted my change to get that one. Yeah, it tore my stomach, just tore it up. They probably use it's Marisol powder. A lot of times they put it in the grease to filter with, or to extend the life of the grease. And I don't have a gallbladder, so it kind of affects me pretty roughly. But I'm getting ready to turn the camera on, and turn the TV up. I have a video, the one I've been talking about, queued up. Some of it we're gonna hear. I'm gonna catch you up to where it's at right now on the video. So, because I've skipped like the first 6 minutes, I can do a little synopsis and get you to that part, because we've already been talking about this anyway. So it's taught right now. We're at the part where it's talking about Diddy and Cassie and the FOs. Um, this is the part from here and the clips I'm going to show you. Some of it I'm just going to play audio, and some I'm going to show you video so that I don't get clipped, okay? The important part is the ritualistic and where it ties to. And that's what I want. I can't explain it as good as this does. I'm going to go ahead and hit play.
Would instruct them to continue until the escort would completely finish in or on Cassie. Cassie and Diddy would then immediately run into another room, leaving the escorts alone for a moment. Cassie claimed that when they were in the other room after finishing with the escort, Diddy would do the most disturbing thing about all of this. This is worse than anything else that has been reported, and that says a lot. According to Cassie, Diddy would instruct her to remove the male fluid from inside of her and then rub it on Diddy's chest area. Again, Cassie claims Diddy would want the escort's fluid rubbed on his chest after Cassie finished.
Okay, I know it's gross. Let me know if you guys are able to hear it and hear it clearly. If someone would in the chat, please. Let me make sure that it's on the right speed. I know, I'm with y'all. I guess with the throw up symbol, that means you can hear it too well, huh? I'm going to speed it up. Don't worry. Yep, just wait. It's going to tell exactly what branch. And the reason I want y'all to pay attention And the clips that I'm going to show you in this video that I want you to see and hear, it's not this guy that's going to tell you what religious belief it's tied to and how the word love ties in. And I want you to remember, Diddy changed his name to Love. He changed the record label to Love Records, and it's the Love album. Okay? Please remember. And I still maintain this. Look into the symbol that he's got tattooed, the huge one that's tied to a lot of people say hoodoo and voodoo. Hunty, somebody led him the wrong way on that one, because she's the protector of women and children. And within less than 8 months of getting that tattoo is when his world started to crumble. Yo, just watch. It's going to go into that. Here we go, guys.
This was seriously disturbing. A groundbreaking.
Okay, here we go.
Hysteria. Again, Cassie claims
Okay, hold on.
the escorts. They will do the most disturbing thing about all of this. This is worse than anything else that has been reported, and that says a lot. According to Cassie, Diddy would instruct her to remove the male fluid from inside of her and then rub it on Diddy's chest area. Again, Cassie claims Diddy would want the escort's fluid rubbed on his chest after Cassie finished hooking up with him. This was seriously disturbing, but groundbreaking information that confirms everything I've been exposing about Diddy.
Thank you, Miss Justice.
Now you may be wondering, why the heck would Diddy want another man's fluid rubbed on his chest? Is it because he's gay and that's just some weird kink he's into? No, not at all. This is darker and deeper than the mainstream is trying to make it appear. Diddy is a sex magician.
Okay. I want y'all to listen and remember that Michael B. Jordan, I think I played that clip for you guys. He did an interview where he put the name in, and it ties to this same religion. As soon as we get to the video symbols y'all need to see, I promise. I'm not going to make y'all watch any of the other that you don't need to. I'm only going to show the clips that are necessary. Okay. Let me just, there we go.
Something you think he's into? No, not at all. This is darker and deeper than the mainstream is trying to make it appear. Diddy is a sex magician occultist. He is into an occult practice called sex magic. He is a part of the occult sex religion called the Lima. What Cassie described wasn't her fulfilling Diddy's strange...
Y'all hear that? Let me rewind that little part, because that is very important. There are multiple different religions that Christians and people involved with Christianity refer to as Baphomet type things. Trying to think of a way to say it. It's very important to know which specific one you're dealing with and who all ties there. Thank you for the trigger warning, because I don't have a way to put all that up. And we do stand with all victims. But understanding this may also help answer some of the questions about why didn't she leave. Think about it. He's involved with this. Who else is involved that she's seen and knows? Hold on, sorry. Oh, I'm waiting on a vehicle to leave so I can get out. Okay, here we go, guys. This is important.
He is a part of the occult sex religion called the Lima. What Cassie described wasn't her fulfilling Diddy's strange kinks. It was describing a sex magic ritual in the Lima. Exactly what Diddy has Cassie doing in these freakouts is what goes on inside of these Lima lodges. Groups of sex magicians engage in...
Hold on, I want y'all to see. Alright. I don't want to get in trouble for showing too much. This is the symbol. Hold on.
revealed a strange case. It was describing a sex magic ritual in Tolima. Exactly what Diddy has Cassie doing in these freakouts is what goes on inside of these Tolima lodges. Groups of sex magicians engage in magical rites where a man and a woman engage in intimate activities together while others watch.
I ain't making
Those
you
who are
watch
part of
that
the
part.
Tolima religion believe that there's magic in intimacy, magic that they need to harness to become spiritually enlightened. By watching another couple engage in these activities, they are absorbing that energy. That's what Diddy was doing the whole entire time. Everyone you see at the very top in Hollywood.
Do y'all hear that? Energy transfer. Just listen. He's going to explain something, and it explains when he explains what he explains, and then they play a clip of another musician. It ties everything in to the name change and the album and everything. And maybe, just maybe, why he was targeted now. Just stay with me. Everybody is focusing on the acts themselves, when legally we need to focus less on what's going on in the bedroom and behind those doors, and on the organization, orders, and carry out of them, and what was done criminally that can be shown and proven in court, because that's what gets you those RICOs. Okay? And then you add in the things with the scratched off serial numbers. There's your force, and that shows violence, which is a necessary component for part of RICO. Then when we look at, everybody wants to know, well, why did she stay? Why did she stay? Maybe we might be able to find an answer. Besides understanding it ourselves that are DV, SA, and ritualistic survivors, not victims, survivors, please. And thrivers, hopefully, eventually. It's hard, even now, for me to explain why I stayed the time I did. You know, the first few times, I believed he was sorry. I believed it wouldn't happen again. He went back to being that person that I was with for the first 2.5 years. But that was all fake. That was the love bombing, that comes in between to make you think it's never going to happen again, so you don't leave. And then I did have threats and coercion. I mean, when I left, I got messages saying I'm going to KUB with pictures of handguns, sawed-off shotguns, other utensils similar. And I was told, I know where your mom and your kids live. There was a lot to that. And this is somebody that didn't have that kind of power and money. I can't fathom, like he did it in front of people and nobody did anything. So I thought maybe I was crazy. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I did something to deserve it. Found myself questioning myself. So I get it. Now, imagine that those people are international superstars and executives, and they all sit there like nothing's happening. I mean, there's even a testimony where the guy that was his assistant testified that Cassie was on her back in the cradle position with her legs and knees bent down and hands and feet up, screaming, "Does nobody see this shit?" And when she tried to leave, he sent people that brought her back, tracked her down. She couldn't even hide. Get the heck out of here. But anyway, let's finish this. It's a whole different ballgame.
would engages in these rituals. Now, the reason Diddy wanted the male fluid rubbed on his chest, it's because in sex magic, they believe the male fluid is magical. They call it the life essence. They believe that the energy needs to be harnessed. The reason they do these rituals is to put themselves in a trance-like state where they can activate their higher selves. Diddy was participating in these sex rituals with Cassie. Now, Diddy has been telling the world he's a part of the Thelema religion for a while now. Every time you see him taking pictures doing this.
Okay, I'm going to show y'all this picture. Hold on. But did y'all hear that? It's about power. It's about transfer of power. It's about life force and power. You know, the reason I say that is I think about souls. And, you know, that the devil wants the most souls on his side to be successful. And that, you know, our soul, our spirit, our essence is what gives him power. It's what, you know, gives us power in our religious beliefs, you know, or mine, you know, as far as Christianity goes. And to take someone, you know, saying someone sold their soul, isn't that kind of what this is? So let me turn the camera back on. Let's see. Okay. And I'm going to hit play now, so you can see the symbol, and I'll pause it.
Cassie. Now, Diddy has been telling the world he's a part of the Thelema religion for a while now. Every time you see him take it.
Okay. I'm trying, you guys. This is the symbol they're talking about right there.
Pictures doing his hand gesture. That is a Thelema hand gesture.
That's what we saying, man. Again,
hold on, we're going to fast forward.
Why?
It's the only place that I've been able to find this video, by the way. It seems to have originally been taken down. Ah, we got commercial. Sorry. So I'll talk through that and skip it as soon as I can. I apologize. I just want to show y'all the interesting part. I swear, just stick with me about 10 minutes. Okay. So, I want y'all to see this. It says, in Thelema, love is the law. Love, and I can't see that word for the sign, will is a core principle, meaning that while individuals are free to act according to their own will, they should also guide their actions with love and compassion. It emphasizes the balance between personal freedom and responsibility. Allegedly. Okay. Now.
It's basically the credo of the organization. Now, you should remember that Diddy cheated.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Here we go. Be ready to hear this.
Done during sex magic rituals. On top of this, in the religion Thelema, they claim that love is the law, love under will, which is basically the credo of the organization. Now, you should remember that Diddy changed his name to Love. This is a direct reference to Thelema. Diddy is referring to love is the law, love under will. It's why he released an entire album called the Love Album. All of it was Diddy secretly showing the world that he would...
See, that's what I'm talking about. Understand, love is the world, love is the law. Stay with me, though. Because who's ruling that world?
An occultist into sex magic. These parties weren't just about fulfilling Diddy's disturbing desires. There were rituals done with a specific...
Sorry, y'all. Somehow it went back. I thought, no.
Purpose. According to Cassie, Diddy was having her do this multiple times. Allow them to communicate with these entities who grant them forbidden knowledge. These occultists will then use this forbidden knowledge to achieve whatever they want. Many inventors, artists, and actors all do these same sex rituals in order to contact these deities and use them for their work. Artists will use these deities to write his songs. Inventors will use these rituals to come up with the answers to their inventions. Actors do these rituals to allow the entities to take over them and use them for their acting roles. This is the secret of the highest degree in masonry. This is what is taught in the 33rd degree. How to utilize sex magic to be able to communicate with these entities. Many people...
Did anyone hear that? How it connected it with masonry, 33rd degree masonry. Just stay with me.
People think Cassie was complicit in all of this because she wanted money. Part of this is true. Cassie wanted to be a successful artist. Right. She saw Diddy as the man who could make that happen. But it appears Diddy had other plans for her.
Here's another...
Using her to perform a sex magic ritual.
Here's another picture just to see with the symbol. And I have often wondered, why do I see all these pictures? You know, Jay-Z says it's the Rockefeller symbol, the rock. But I have wondered why.
And it's the same thing that happens to many of these upcoming
Now, this
celebrities that
is
enter the
the
industry. They
opinion
think
of
that these
this channel,
executives
not
want to
me.
help to
But
make it to the next level, when in reality, they're either trying to initiate them or use them for their rituals. From what it appears, Cassie was just like many other celebrities who got brought into that life when they were trying to make it big. She was willing to do anything to make it, and that's what did.
this is why my hypothesis on the prosecution using or looking at Cassie not as a victim, but as an unindicted co-conspirator, or saying that she was coerced into this lifestyle by being told she was the girlfriend, by being told and made to think that they were in love and there was a future, when in reality it really was just what it became, a job. And she was manipulated and used to further him and his goals rather than her career. And the manipulation was the lies and making her think that it was more than it was. Not saying that's the truth and being offered for fact. I'm saying I think that's the route the prosecution is taking it. And they can take that and the unindicted co-conspirator. It looks just like Gina Hahn, who is viewed as a victim. Yes, they can subpoena her and drag her into court, but how did that work out in the Young Thug case? How did that work out for the prosecution? How did that make them look? Okay, let's get the rest of this before we run out of power to play it. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying.
He had her doing for her spot in the industry. I believe Diddy also did these rituals with people like J-Lo, and I believe she's continuing to use these rituals in her life till today. J-Lo's ex-husband exposed her for using witchcraft and performing rituals for her success. Jennifer was married to Ojani back in 1998, right before she was with Diddy. Ojani even claims that Jennifer cheated on him with Diddy. More importantly, Ojani exposed something about Jennifer that most people don't know, that she's into black magic and witchcraft. According to Ojani, J-Lo is deep into Santeria, which is similar to voodoo. He claims that J-Lo was extremely
Santeria is reportedly similar but quite different. I did the other day when he is sitting and talking to other presidents or dictators. Oh, y'all were talking about, yeah, I have. And a lot of people, there's different reasons given for people doing that. Of course, it's involvement and a signal. Allegedly, it's a signal to others that participate and believe that you are one. And some people, and I want to say it was Musk that said it, but please don't, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But I believe it was Musk or a scientist. I'm not sure. I cannot remember. That said that a lot of people who subscribe to Leonardo da Vinci's school of thought, which when you look into him, that's not a good school to be thinking of. But anyway, I digress. That say that it's basically a way of drumming up power within oneself. It's almost like connecting to an outlet when you do that. It's kind of like making the pyramid symbol, which I find it, don't y'all find it interesting that that's the pyramid symbol and all the stuff that be going on with the pyramids in Egypt and how they worshipped all the different false gods back then in that time? I'm just saying, Okay, anyway, let's get this done before I run out of juice to play it.
And he was as well at one point.
We're going to fast forward a little bit. We ain't taking up the whole J-Lo.
I know what you mean. It's other stuff.
I want to get past J-Lo.
This is what I believe he was referring to. All of these big celebrities are into this.
Okay, hold on. Right here.
And sacrifices to the gods in order to cleanse herself of Diddy. According to Ajani, he saw J-Lo do a blood rebirth ritual where she bathed in chicken blood until she was covered in it from head to toe.
No.
He then claims that she was washed off with holy water and patted with herbs. This is what I believe he was referring to. All of these big celebrities are into this. The Lima is the secret religion of Hollywood. The Lima at its core is just Gnosticism, alchemy, and Luciferianism. Ancient occult practices that these occultists use to become God.
I want y'all to hear what he said. At its core, the Lima
This is what I
is.
believe he was referring to. All of these big celebrities are into this. The Lima is the secret religion of Hollywood. The Lima at its core is just Gnosticism, alchemy, and Luciferianism. Ancient occult practices that these occultists use to become God. Understand that Diddy isn't the only one doing this. Kanye is also into these same practices. Kanye is also into sex.
Wow.
And that's why we see him doing the things he does today. Kanye and Diddy were close. And it's because they both participated in these disturbing rituals. And so did Jay-Z. Aleister Crowley is seen as a god in Hollywood. He's the one that taught Hollywood about sex magic.
Okay,
All of
hold
these
on.
artists used
So I want y'all to see, every time that they've talked about the Lima, they've had the black and white picture with the outline of the star. And this man is in there. If anybody didn't know who that was, now you do. That's Aleister Crowley, who is credited. Well, just watch. Here you go. Just listen and watch right here. Let me rewind just a notch.
disturbing rituals. And so did Jay-Z. Aleister Crowley is seen as a god in Hollywood. He's the one that taught Hollywood about sex magic. All of these artists you see sending love and admiration to Crowley are into sex magic. That also goes for Ab Soul. Ab Soul made an entire album about Crowley, calling it Do What Thou Wilt.
Okay, here is the interview. I hope Sway's universe does not cut me. Here's the interview. I'm going to pause and let y'all see the video periodically, but I want y'all to hear what's said. That's more important than the visual. And if I show you both, I can get struck. So just work with me, y'all.
The name of the album is the same. Do What.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We're going to get a Bill Gates commercial. Here we go.
Which to me brought me
Okay, hold on.
Calling it Do What Thou Wilt.
the name of the album is the same. Do What Thou Wilt. Which to me brought me to Aleister Crowley. And you know Aleister, you know who Aleister Crowley is, right? And he was a magician, a poet, and he was also linked to Satanism. Yeah. In many ways. And so what made you decide, what does that mean to you? Made you decide to name your project that?
Well, you know what? You first.
Okay, let me mute. Not mute the TV. I want y'all to hear this part. I want y'all to hear his answer on what does that mean to you. And when you're listening, I want you to think of Diddy's name change, his record label name change, and the name of his new album. And I don't know if I skipped it. I'm waiting to see. If I did, I'm going to explain something to you. The significance of that name change and the album and that open declaration usually means that you've reached the pinnacle, is what's explained here. Almost like you're the new leader of like you're the T.D. Jakes of the Potter House, but in this religion. Okay, back to the audio, please. I'm sorry to have to do the audio only.
Let me bring up the Satanism, and I'm so glad that you did, because you know it's all church with me.
Yeah.
Know that. So, Do What Thou Wilt immediately sounds like free will. Aleister Crowley has been influential throughout music and entertainment and ideology and philosophy. The album is based on that quote, "Do What Thou Wilt," which is in the book, one of his books, the Book of the Law. Love is the law. Love is the only law. I respect that because
Hold on, I want y'all to see something. We're gonna rewind. I want you to pay attention to this part. I'm gonna show you. So hold on.
Ideology and philosophy. The album is based on that quote, "Do What Thou Wilt," which is in the book, one of his books, the Book of the Law. Love is.
Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get it clear so you can see. The Book of the Law by Aleister Crowley. And he said, love is the law. Remember that. What's Diddy's new name? Love. The record company? Love Records. The Love album. Remember that.
Love. Love is the only love. I respect that because, my main thing, influential throughout music and entertainment and ideology and philosophy. The album is based on that quote, "Do what thou wilt," which is in the book, one of his books, the Book of the Law. And love is the law. Love is the only law. I respect that because, my main thing is ain't nothing wrong with a righteous man, correct?
Yeah.
So I really admire this guy. Well, I mean, but
Well, see, what he's saying is, are you signing your name on the dotted line? Are you signing your soul away? Oh, yeah, that's what he's saying.
Are you in the Illuminati?
I mean, it literally be right here in our face. I don't think I've seen
Okay,
this.
hold on.
But right
I'm
here
fast
in your
forwarding this. Hold on.
face. Right here in your face.
Okay. Here we go.
About all of these rituals, literally not only telling people to use man fluid like Diddy is doing, but also using blood in the same way. Crowley even instructed his followers to even eat man fluid as it would further their ecstasy. It's not a coincidence that Diddy changed his name to Love and dropped the Love album right before this all happened. He was out here doing these rituals the entire time. It's all connected to sex magic. Remember Jonathan Odie? He was just brought up in this trial and confirmed to be one of the freak-off escorts. He claimed Diddy, Khaled, and Ross were all gay and a part of the Bolet secret society.
James and Ross, which are good buddies. Okay, they're gay.
Remember this? Remember Jonathan Odie? I know it's been over a year now since I talked about him. Told y'all he was going to be there.
All of these men are a part of the Lima. All of them participate in these sick, disturbing rituals. This is the truth about Hollywood the media isn't going to tell you. This is why I advise you guys to stop idolizing these people. Look at what these people are really up to behind the scenes. It's disgusting. I'm going to keep my eyes on this trial and continue to provide you guys with the important information. Things that the media are going to try to cover up because they work for the elite who participate in these sick rituals. Well, that's it for this video. I want to thank you all for...
Okay, so... let me just hit the off button. Now let me say this. Let's see. We're going to turn the camera around to me. And let's see. Is that the one? No. Oh. I'm going to try to do a green screen. Let's see if it'll let me. I don't know what to choose. Oh. It actually is okay. This is weird. Because I don't know what that's a picture of even. Okay. Let's see what that does. Okay. Those are my candles I tried. Let go up. I don't know how to get to other pictures. And I'm not trying to, I don't want it to be a picture of Jeremiah or the dog box. And I don't know what this is. Let's see what that is. Okay, well, whatever. Okay. I don't like the green screen, y'all. So we're going off of that and done. Okay. I just don't, y'all can't see me because it's so dark in here. Hold on. I can fix that. We are close to being done. Anyway, there we go. That's better. Okay, so the reason that I wanted to bring that out and talk about it, which I've been talking about it for a while. We did just in time. Look, 1% on my box. I don't know if y'all, let me see. Let me turn the, I'll quit making y'all dizzy with my terrible camera work. Look there. So, I do have to say goodbye very soon to everybody. I wanted people to understand that. Thank you, Dollar Tree. I wanted people to understand what I had seen and the understanding that I got, and to know that that's what triggered the thought when I guess I'm going to go over to Food Line and go in and get me a sandwich or something there. And because I do have enough on my EBT that I can do that. They usually have like pre-made subs or sandwiches, and they're cold, of course. Love a hot meal, y'all, but hey, it is what it is. At least I'm able to eat, that's the positive thing, and physically able. But I can go over there and then sit on the bench where I've done laps from before and charge my box while I eat. And then if I want to come back up here and park tonight, I can. I already called in there and talked to them. They were very nice. I told them that I wasn't feeling well. The girl told me no worries. Where I was parked, I wasn't in the way. And they are a part, as I understand from what I was told, they're a part of DSS's safe parking program because their parking lot connects with the hospital parking lot. So I'm going to try to get me something to eat and charge my box. It's all the way across town. Pray that the speedway that's right down here, that I can get in their parking lot and that I'll be able to charge it there. I will say this, just a re-announcement. I spoke to the people at, it's called Table Rock Campground. I know the people that's running it. I'm going to have to pay for 2 spots. That's why my rent is as high as it is a month. They're giving me a discount, on the second spot, basically for half. It's because of the length. This is a 30-foot long, and their spots are made for 24 feet or less. So if I get 2 lengthwise, I'll fit and just have extra. Long story short, I'll have a plug up and everything, and it's going to cost me $125 a month. And I only have to come up. I have a $200 deposit and $125, and I can move in. So anybody that has any helpful ideas on a job that I can get and start, that you can put in a good word, because I have now applied for 154 jobs as of today, and that's in 2 weeks. I am trying. Yesterday, I went into a store, and literally on their counter where I'm paying, it says now hiring 2 to 3 days a week. And, retail experience requested. Well, I've got that. I worked at Walmart for over 2 years, and I worked at Rose's before. But anyway, I asked, and he was like, no, we ain't really hiring now. In other words, we don't want to hire you. They didn't take the sign down, And somebody said, why would you buy a camper without the ability to keep it up? I literally bought it, and altogether, I sat and figured it up. I put almost $2,900 into this, and it takes 6 tires. I put 6 new tires on it. I put all new belts and all new hoses. I put all new bulbs all the way around. I got the stuff and paid for the oil change, and I cannot help that he tore it up. I cannot help that Freedom Campground took my money and won't give it back, and I got to go to court, which is, y'all know that could take forever and 3,000 years, it feels like, and I got to live till then. And I mean, before the mechanic got a hold of it that did the oil change, I was told what great condition it was in and what a steal I got for what I paid for it and everything else. I literally have come to terms with losing everything else that's in my storage building and just trying to find a job and a permanent parking space so that I don't have to worry about charging my box because it's prepaid power and $5 a day works. Till they find someone else. Right, Miss Justice, I have literally this morning when I went to Wingstop today. I had an interview at Wingstop. I offered to work for 3 days for free with no compensation if they give me a chance, and I'm hoping they call me back. I'm not above it. That's what, I don't care. I told them I don't care. I wash dishes, I clean toilets, I wait tables, I'll cook, I'll prep, whatever they need. I have literally done all those positions in a restaurant. So I'm not above it at all. At all. I would welcome it. Uh, and what I have been trying to do when I went physically to apply, I made sure that I looked good, hair brushed, eyebrows done, a little bit of makeup on, dressed professional. I might have lost half of my clothes if I don't get my storage building back, and a lot of other personal stuff that I'm really gonna be sad about losing, but it could be worse. It could always be worse. And this is, when you ask me, let me say this. So if I hadn't bought the camper and I'm sitting here telling you I'm homeless and hungry and have nowhere to sleep and live, um, and the car I bought broke down, you'd be saying you bought a car without the ability to fix it. Because literally, where I slept night before last, there was a woman sleeping in a sleeping bag with all her possessions on the ground around her on the sidewalk and in the grass. And she was in a sleeping bag on the sidewalk. That could be me. If it weren't for the camper, that could be me. But you know what? I prayed, and this is what my Lord told me to do. And there's a purpose in it. And I'm not going to second guess him. And I'm going to continue to hold on to my faith and know that my God's not leading me down a false path. And that if I continue to listen to him and do his will, I'm going to be successful. Maybe not by man's standards, but by his standards. And aren't those the ones that really count? I mean, I ain't trying to sound like a bunghole to nobody, but I mean, ain't those the ones that really matter? I'm not supposed to care what John or George thinks. I'm supposed to care what God thinks. And that's where I'm operating from. I'm not perfect. I know I just got done talking junk about Smiley Joe. So I'm not telling y'all I'm perfect. I'm telling you I'm a work in progress. I'm telling you that my faith and my beliefs have gotten me through the past 3 years of my life, that I dare anybody to truly be able to criticize me for. If you haven't walked in my shoes when it comes to that, you really should just shut up. And I know that sounds horribly mean, but, take it however you will, because I know most people in YouTube land are going to regardless, no matter what the truth is. And a lot of people out there don't seem to know how to differentiate between YouTube bullcrap and real life, unfortunately. And I'm sorry if I'm moving around while I'm talking to you guys. I'm actually packing up the camper so that when I end this broadcast, I can crank up, hopefully, and get out of here. Hopefully, I'm not blocked in. If I'm blocked in, I'm going to have to walk about a mile down the hill to the Speedway. I'm hoping, they used to have an outside outlet back in the day. One of my friends was the manager at the store when they used to do Dunkin' Donuts still. And a lot of times I would be driving either DoorDash or Point Pickup back then. and need to charge my phone because my cigarette lighter thing wasn't working in the car I had at the time. And I know it worked then. A lot of times I have found when I ask about an outlet working, if they look and see that I got out the camper, they think I'm wanting to plug the whole camper up to the outlet. I mean, how dorkified is that, you guys? The only reason I'm hoping for that is because it's probably going to take me a quarter of a tank of gas to drive to the food line over there where I know I can charge it, and then back to here. And if I can save that money, I would like to be able to go up on the lake and do those videos and to get to do the museum video. I'm just waiting on scheduling from City Hall right now. You guys know government moves at this slower than smoke off a homemade crud. A snail moves faster uphill on a cold day, I guess. Oh my Lord, I just tore that. Dadgummit. Oh, did it just come untied? Nope. My jute rope broke. Lord, please help my soul. It's my little system of quickly tying my TV and stuff up, and also holding my cloth drapes up so I can see out better while I'm driving and just not have to worry about it. And I pulled too hard the wrong way, and the legs on this TV that I've got this rope tied around, I'll show y'all what I'm doing in a second. I can't hold the phone and do it right now, but the legs on it are kind of sharp. No pun intended, sharp media. They're kind of sharp, so it sometimes will, where the jute rope kind of rubs up and down on it, it'll cut it in two. I had it doubled and tripled, and I've had to redo it several times. Okay, let's see. Like right now, I'm retying a piece. I just want to say this here cracker, and see, I drove to the Cracker Barrel. The reason it's going to take me the extra gas is I didn't want to stay at the one right here near home. I thought it'd be too close. I know that may sound weird, but I thought that would be too close to home. Okay. So while I'm talking to y'all, I'm prepping to be able to get out of here. First thing I'm doing is pulling all my blinds up after I tied up my stuff, and I tie it up first before I open up the blinds, because I don't want people to be able to kind of just look inside and see not just me. I mean, me's the last thing I care about them seeing or not, but I don't want the TV and my Jackery box and some other, my laptop and stuff like that to be readily visible. It might give somebody the opinion to want to take it. I do know the girl that were really nice and basically told me that they expect, I'll let y'all see outside too right now, there are multiple vehicles that are here for the night. Let's see. I went too close up, didn't I? It won't do a happy medium. There's a truck and a hauler. There's a power line truck. There's another RV just right there out my window that I can see. So that's part of the reason that they don't mind overnight company. They're pretty much all over. That's a nice RV, beautiful, probably about 130,000. It has at least 2, if not 3, pullouts. I would not. People talking about getting something you can't afford. Well, let me tell you, I did my research, and that's why I picked what I picked. It might be older than dirt, but the kind of motor that's in it, anybody that's a mechanic can work on it. Allegedly, supposedly. Also, it doesn't have pullouts. Nothing is motorized. Everything is like, meter power, basically. I took all that into consideration. Simply because I didn't want to get in the situation I'm in right now, I guess. I didn't want to be in a position to have to fix something that I couldn't fix. And before I crank up and move out, I'm going to show y'all how this, what I say, people accuse me of road rage, and I probably do got road rage. But let me just show y'all. I can't back up at all. I backed as far as I can. And let me show y'all the bright person that is parked in front of me while I've been sitting here. Oh, and their friend that just is pulling in beside them now, it looks like. And I don't know how I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to try it. Oh, I'm going to show y'all in just a second, y'all, I promise. I just had to get everything all together here. Okay. So here's what I can see. Y'all see the car right there at my front end? Wish me luck, because I'm going to need it. You've got a 80, is that 87 or 67? 67. Mine's a 95. Girl, mine only has 87,000 and some change miles. See, yours is a 2013 and has more miles on it than mine does. Can you believe that? Ish. And I've got the title, the registration to prove it's not a salvage title. It's not, they didn't change the motor and VIN numbers and update the title, none of that. It's the original motor. That's why, listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't know a lot about the motor. I've found out a lot since I've gotten this vehicle. What I do know, and have been told, believe it or not, is that it's okay, an 87 Ford Citation, 27. I had a Chevy Citation. It was a driver's ed car, but anyway, I digress. The good thing about this engine, I've been offered $100, $130 actually, to be exact, more than I paid for the entire motorhome for the engine. Apparently, race car drivers love it. Like homegrown stock car, dirt track type race cars, they love it. Alright, y'all, this is going to be a tight squeeze. I may come back live if I get the opportunity. I'll let y'all know. Peace, love, and light. I got to go and drive and get out of this. If I don't see y'all later tonight, I'll see you tomorrow. It may still be live because it ain't